What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters from No That to Metal, and this is
Trog.
What's up, everybody? So this is Scott and Trog from No That to Metal, and we are doing our 1988 top 1 million.
Yeah, this one's going to be interesting. Oh, man, my breath is like... I just had hot sauce, so sorry if I'm knocking you out, eh? Yeah, this is going to be interesting because I think I figured out why. I mean, you're going to notice that my tastes, they started veering off a bit. I was getting less into like the straight ahead metal and into like stuff off in the alternative and that kind of thing, for lack of a better word. But so it'll be interesting. And I think I know I was in DT Seizure at the time, and I think I didn't want to hear metal because I was playing metal, so I was getting interested in other stuff. That's what I think's happening, and you're going to see it happening depending how far we go into the 90s after this.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely in the 90s.
I'm gonna be like less and less use as the years go on because, well, we'll see. We'll see.
That's why I call it hard and heavy, though. It doesn't have to be just straightforward metal.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we have two basically runners-up, ones that made the list at the last second that we kind of forgot about and added at the last second. So.
Oh, you mean my kind of honorable mention? Okay.
Your honorable mention, and we both have.
All right. Yeah, I had to. I just was looking at the stuff we were picking out for this episode, and I realized I was like, I just saw I had it. I forgot I had it. Frank Zappa put out Broadway the Hard Way in 1988, and I actually got to see him on this tour, like 5 years before he died, and I was just so blown away. It was such a great show. I wouldn't necessarily call it hard and heavy, but damn, it's so good. I mean, if you like Zappa, you know what I mean. Zappa can be play some very hard and heavy riffs when he wants to, but that's just. He's not limited to just that. He does whatever he pleased, really.
He's been all over the map musically, yeah.
And that's what I love about him, because there's no constraints whatsoever. So, yeah, great album. Some awesome work on this. I used to listen to this thing over and over while I was a janitor cleaning buildings, and so I know this album inside and out.
Since then, he's become a custodian, so you've moved up.
I am. I'm the janitor in the void. I clean up other people's shit. Pretty much is what I do. No, I don't know if there's anything on here that I could really classify as being well known. But Elvis Just Left the Building was a great opener. Jesus Thinks You're a Jerk was it was kind of the slap back in the face to all the televangelists and all the crap that they were doing, the Jim Bakkers and the Jimmy Swaggarts and all that, and Jesus Thinks You're a Jerk. I mean, nobody could put it that way but Frank Zappa. And it's just a great band. The band he had on this tour was amazing. When they closed up the show, they did this cover of Stairway to Heaven that was unbelievable. The whole guitar solo was a horn section, and it was note for note. It was killer. So I couldn't do 1988 without mentioning this one, because one of my favorite albums of that year. And just, I love Frank Zappa, and R.I.P.
So this one here, you've got a copy sitting there too.
Oh yeah.
That
we're gonna get lynched for this.
I don't care. I like this album. Celtic Frost.
Everyone else hates it, including the creator. I liked it too.
He hates it, but I mean, I think this look is actually worse than the music.
Oh, totally. I think the look is what confused people most. If you could just blank that whole thing out and just listen to the music on its own terms, I don't think people would nearly have as much a problem with it as they did.
Right. I think if pop metal and had gone this direction, I think.
Oh, sure.
I mean, because if people were
going to do, if anyone was going to do this, Celtic Frost was going to do it better than anybody at the time, because they pretty much could do anything they wanted.
I liked it. I mean,
I liked it too. When I saw the video,
is it their best album?
No, maybe not, but I still dig it a lot. I love Cherry Orchards. I think it's a great song.
Seduce is like wine. Seduce Me Tonight. There's some good. I like the intro too. That kind of techno intro.
Yeah, it is kind of bizarre. I forgot about that one.
But I like it still. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, sometimes they have definitely gone off in areas that are like, what?
Yeah.
And Celtic Frost fans, you know what I'm talking about. they are not afraid to try anything, even if they look like idiots doing it. And obviously, that's kind of what everyone thought. So, but still, I remember when I saw it, and I was like, "What the hell are these guys doing? This song's really good."
Because it wasn't what they promised either. They were kind of promising part 2 to the Into the Pandemonium, as I recall.
Right.
And what they delivered was this, and I can understand. I mean, I remember being kind of, what is that? But again,
Was it a cash grab? Maybe.
I don't know. I liked it, so I
liked it too.
Bought it as a new release. I was working at Cabbages at the time, so.
I mean, if you're gonna talk about like bands, typically most of my favorite bands have one oddball at least in the catalog.
I think any band with any longevity does.
Right, and this was definitely theirs. You know, Sabbath had Technical Ecstasy, and help me out here.
Led Zeppelin had Into the Outdoor. Most people thought that was kind of a
Priest had Turbo, whatever. Yeah. And I think Turbo was in that same time period. I mean, the hair metal craze was huge, and it was massive money, and it affected everybody. Everybody. I can't think of. Well, maybe a couple, but most people.
Most
were
of the bigger bands, Priest,
Yeah.
Maiden,
everyone was trying to.
Raven.
Oh man, poor Raven. I love Raven.
All right, so now we're going to get into our list.
Yeah.
They're not really in any kind of order until we get to the top 10, and it's really a top.
It's actually a top
19.
9 plus 8. 19. Yeah, 19.
Because what we did was we just like we said, it's hard to agree, so we'll get into that later. But anyhow, so we're going to get right into this list. So this is Uncle Slam, straight up thrash metal crossover, kind of in the Suicidal Tendencies vein. Actually, a lot of people compare him to Suicidal Tendencies. Band out of California, just like Suicidal Tendencies, so it's very similar in style and style.
Did they have another album with the shaved beaver on the front, the naked chick?
No, you're thinking Uncle Sam.
Oh, Uncle Sam.
This is Uncle Slam.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I guess that's an honest mistake.
Uncle Sam was the band from Rochester, New York. They were kind of a garage rock punk band. And this is Uncle Slam, which was a crossover thrash band from California.
Killer cover they had.
Yeah, they put out 3 albums, I believe. This was their first one, and yeah, cool cover.
Yeah, that's totally 80s thrash, man. That's the kind of artwork that was on thrash albums at that time.
But yeah, I mean, it's got a little. I mean, it leans a little more towards the punk and hardcore side of thrash metal, as opposed to like an Exodus or a Metallica, where they kind of went to more towards the metal side. Mm-hmm. So anyhow, I think it's a great album. So, like I said, these are not in order. Kind of almost in alphabetical order here, but we'll see.
That's all right.
Vicious Rumors. It's a Shrapnel release, so if it's on Shrapnel Records, it's got lots of guitar wankery on it, and of course we've got Vinnie Moore on guitar.
Whoa. Excuse me, I just threw up a little.
Did it really upset you that much?
No, I didn't know Vinnie Moore was in Vicious Rumors. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I knew he had the solo deal, but I did not know. I've heard of the band. I remember reading about him in the metal fanzines and stuff. No clue Vinnie Moore was in that band.
Yep.
You're gonna see a lot of this stuff happening in the next few years because I wasn't into metal the way I was in the earlier 80s. I missed a lot of it because there was a ton. There was so much out.
Yep, there was. So anyhow, you got Vinnie Moore and Jeff Thorpe trading off guitar licks and tricks and all that kind of fun stuff.
Cool.
But it's not in the 80s there was a lot of those instrumental albums, It's
the
not
guitar
instrumental,
albums?
where
there's
it's not. This is just straightforward heavy metal, pushing towards like the power metal sounds of say Metal Church kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's not whatever that guitar wankery stuff is that you call it, guitar shred,
gods, basically.
Did shred metal.
What
shred,
kind of
whatever.
vocals we got? Clean vocals?
Clean, very clean vocals. The awesome vocals on this. Yeah, what's his name?
This guy? He looks like he should be the singer.
Heck, I can't remember his name.
Gary St. Pierre?
Gary St. Pierre.
It's written right there, dude.
I'm all looking down here. I do the same thing with the years. I'm like, what year just come out? And it's like right there, glowing at you. And
dude, it's the title of the album.
1994.
Right. Okay, next up, neither of us had this one on vinyl.
And I thought I did. So.
But it was definitely, this was the second one, right?
Second or third?
I want to say second.
Abigail.
Was Abigail? Okay, obviously this is King Diamond. Them.
Yeah.
Big one for him. Huge. Probably his signature solo album, I would say.
I'd say so too.
The one that really broke his solo band after the success of Merciful Fate. I have it. I like it. I can't really speak too specifically about it. It's King Diamond.
It's King Diamond, yeah. He just has his own sound, and it's different than Merciful Fate.
It is. I prefer Merciful Fate's sound to King Diamond's solo. I think his first one, Fatal Portrait, was probably my favorite one because it's still kind of harkened back to Merciful Fate because Michael Denner was on guitar and all that. But I think same bass player too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the thing about this one is when he started getting really into the storytelling, as opposed to the "Hail Satan" kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. He really hasn't done any of that
in
his solo career. I mean, he gets into definitely
dark,
very evil, dark stories, but it never really hooked me the way that Merciful Fate did. Just musically speaking, the tunes on here that I'm probably most familiar with are T. I like T. Bye Bye Missy. The phone call thing is on here, where he's talking to his grandmother on the phone. It's all creepy sounding. Yeah. But you're dead. So good stuff. Really good stuff. Very high quality metal.
Yeah, definitely belongs on the list for 1988 for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, so then we're going to go to Testament.
Good album.
Second album from Testament. This is the New Order. Killer Aerosmith cover on here. Oh, I love that song, Nobody's Fault. Whenever anybody says there was no metal in the 70s, I point them to that song. It's so friggin' heavy.
So friggin' heavy.
And the Testament version is not any heavier than the Aerosmith version, so.
DT Seizure was covering this song at the same time.
Nobody's
These guys were doing it, yep.
Such a great song.
And I was like, man!
But it's just some great stuff on here. I mean, Disciples of the Watch is a classic song. The Preacher! And, Into the Pit, which is another classic song by them. Trial by Fire, which I think was the single from the album, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fantastic album.
Awesome.
Pretty much...
Second album? One after the Legacy?
Yes, second album. It pretty much follows in the same footsteps. I mean, the Legacy and this one are pretty much mirrors. I mean,
And Chuck Billy has been their singer since the first album, yes?
He's always been, always been their singer. So, well...
But he wasn't the singer when they were Legacy.
Right.
Okay. Just
that
checking.
was Steve Zolfa.
That was Steve Souza, I forgot. See, even the San Francisco bands.
Z-Tro.
They all traded partners.
Yeah. And produced by Alex Perialis, who did a lot of stuff back in the day, man.
Stuff.
But very thin production, actually, on this one. And the drums are, like, out there. I mean, they're just, like... Especially that kick drum, it's like ding, 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 and it just kind of drives me nuts after a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much standard for thrash. They kind of had that thinner production value, most of it.
Yeah.
At least back then. Me?
You're up.
All right.
Another German band.
Halloween, Keeper of the 70s, Part 2. This is another one that my bass player Kevin Mack and DT Seizure turned me on to. I remember the big video single on this was I Want Out.
I Want Out.
They were playing that all the time. Yep. And this was this a new singer from the previous one?
No, that's the same singer on those two albums.
From these two?
Yes,
from part one and part two.
Yes.
But he wasn't the original Halloween singer.
Correct.
Right. I knew he was a new guy, sort of. There's not a ton I could say about this one. It's really good kind of progressive power metal. Not the way it is today, but this is definitely what kind of led in that direction.
That's definitely, they are generally credited as being the power metal band, or the European power metal band.
Yeah, that turned into all that flower power metal that, like, Blind Guardian and Silent Wind and Farts on the Air and all those other bands. They have those fart names. I don't know what that is. But yeah, this is pretty solid, pretty cool slab of metal from '88. I remember digging it. It was nothing I ever owned, but we used to listen to it a lot because Kev was really into it, and he turned me on to it.
I really dig it.
Good stuff.
Actually, that's another one I thought I had. I have part one. I have the first album, and thought I had that one, but I don't. So now that I have to add that into my list because I just swore. That's when you have a lot of records, you start forgetting.
That's why I love digital, because I have so much shit that I would never have time to get around to. And really, for me, I'm a collector too, but when it comes right down to it, I love music and I like listening to it best. So,
and I do too. I listen to. I mean, people say you listen to your records. Yeah.
Yeah, when I can.
I listen to my records all the time.
Yep.
I don't just collect records and let them sit on the shelf for myself. I mean, other people do, and that's their thing.
Other people do because they can't get their shit together.
Well, I just know.
But I will.
I know some other people that just buy records and they just buy them to collect them, which is fine. Do what you got to do. You know what you want.
Well, it's like the people who buy stuff and they'll leave it sealed. If I get an extra copy that's sealed, fine. But if I only get one of something, I ain't leaving it sealed.
Nope.
I'm sorry. I'm not doing it.
Nope. I was in college in '88, and this is one of the albums that I picked up as a new release. I was working at Cavage's Records in Rochester, and this one came out, and they actually gave a promo copy with the little 8x10 photo in it, and we were allowed to take those home. But they wouldn't play a lot of this heavier stuff in the store because it was in a mall. So they let us take it. So I took this one home, and I was blown away, and I love this band. So this is Power Mad. Let the Madness Begin. 4-song EP, 4 songs, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, yes. Including a cover of Gimme Gimme Shock Treatment by the Ramones.
Yep.
Terminator, Hunter Seeker, and Blind Leading the Blind. I think only one song from this album ended up making it onto their next album, their first full-length album.
With the baby doll head.
Yes.
Okay. Floating in the air.
This is Minneapolis, Minnesota. I think that's where this band's from, or that area anyhow. But just, again, straightforward. I'd call it more like a speed metal. Some people call it thrash metal. I don't care. They got the high soaring kind of vocals, like, like a Joey Belladonna kind of thing going on. But yeah, or Agent Steel, and kind of that realm. There's Toxic, those kind of bands. So yeah, I wish. I don't know. They only put out this album and then the EP. Then the full length album. They had another EP, which is basically old demo stuff. Was put out on that combat series, combat demo, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then nothing. Boot camp.
Boot camp.
And then nothing for 20 years, and then 2-3 years ago they put another album out. But it's a very good album. It's just not the same as style as this.
They're in geological time like me.
Yeah. It's just different. It's not the same. It's the same band, different. They just.
Well, I mean, 20 years in between.
Long
Jeez.
time. Yeah. So anyhow, great album. Power Mad, Madness Begins. This was on a major label too. It was like Reprise or something like that. Yeah, Reprise.
I thought you said refried.
Refried. But yeah.
Awesome.
Not again. This
Power
is,
Mad.
Whereas Uncle Slam was more towards the punk end of the spectrum, and these guys actually do a cover of
Gimme
Shock Treatment,
yeah.
but they still steer more towards the metal end of things.
Yeah.
And they take that Ramones song and they give it a metal edge, kind of like Megadeth did with
Anarchy in the
Pistols.
UK.
Yeah,
Yep, for sure. Awesome.
Me again? This one is another band from LA. This band was actually playing that whole LA strip scene in the early 80s, and
They were a Sanctuary band? Or no?
they were a Sanctuary band, but they were around
Later.
before that. Yeah, they were playing the LA scene, and they were on the LA scene, and they back in that whole scene, all the different bands would go see all the other bands on the strip,
Yeah.
And these were one of the guys that were in that on the strip, and I remember him telling me one time, he's like, I went to see this band Motley Crue, and he goes, and they got this major label contract, and it's like, those guys suck. They couldn't play their instruments, and the singer couldn't sing. And it was like, and he was just telling me all these things, like, yeah, they got a major. And he said, and we got this great guitar player, this great singer, and we can't get anything. And he's like, I can understand his frustration being a part of that scene, and then seeing a band, and Motley Crue became one of the biggest bands in the world. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
there's no real explaining
Nope.
it. I mean, you can try, but it starts to sound kind of conspiracy theory.
yeah, or
Kind of just, let's just leave it alone.
But anyhow, this is Neon Cross, and you're like, who exactly?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get into them until I was in Tychus.
Yeah.
So that's the first time I'd heard them, and I met
Tychus's sound is very similar.
to Neon Cross.
Neon Cross, yeah, it's straightforward, heavy metal. I mean, I can imagine. What was your guitar player's name?
Dale Burton.
Dale Burton. I could imagine. Picture Dale playing in this band.
Oh, Dale! If Dale can do anything, Dale can write songs that are metal songs from the '80s.
Yeah.
That's what he does. That's his specialty, and he's great at it. Awesome.
Yeah, that's what this is. It's just straightforward, simplistic, heavy metal. If I was to compare it to anything, it would kind of be like Judas Priest, British Steel kind of era, where they kind of went for the more simplistic sound that they had in the '70s. Drummer. I know this band. I played with them many times.
Yeah, we played in the same building. We
Yep.
at Up From the Ashes.
Up from the Ashes,
Yep.
exactly.
First
and
one.
Their singer and their guitar player, Don Webster, these two guys here, really nice guys. Actually, you can see my copies signed by both of them.
Lead vocalist is David
Raymond Reeves.
Okay.
The guy can sing.
That's a stage name, right?
I think that's his name, David Reeves.
Dave Podine.
I don't think so. I don't know if that's him or not.
I thought it was the singer. I don't know now. Have I been thinking this other guy's a singer for all these years and he's not?
I've always known him as David Reeves, so
Maybe I'm confused.
maybe.
I'm definitely confused.
But I could be wrong too. I don't know. Anyhow,
Okay.
I knew this band because of the California Metal series that came out. And
Okay,
they were
yeah.
on it, and they had 2 songs on it, and this is one called they had on there called "Son of God," which is my favorite Neon Cross song. And then I was like, when this album came out, I was like, right on, I love that, and it's not on here. They didn't use it. They didn't put it on here.
Oh.
So that album, that song ended up being on that album, that compilation only.
Is this their only album?
Well, no, they put this album out full length. They recorded a second album around the same time period, which has never been released to this day. They still haven't released it. They kind of.
Is that him?
That's him.
Dave Perdue is his real name.
Oh, okay.
I was like, thank you. I don't feel so crazy now. I'm like, okay, it is him. Because I met him at Out From the Ashes, and he introduced himself as a singer for Neon Cross.
Yeah, so then that's his real
He looks
name.
like Ted Nugent.
He does there.
In
That's
that
for
picture,
sure.
yeah, not so much there, but
Oh, well, I can't remember where I was now.
I'm sorry. Rabbit trail.
Yep. Oh well, it
That's
doesn't matter.
80. I took my meds.
Anyhow.
Neon Cross. The song, your favorite song was "Son of God." It wasn't on this album.
Oh, you asked me if it was their only album.
Yes.
They had broken up for a little while. There's still that album that was recorded after this one that was never released to this day. And then after that, kind of in the '90s, I don't know
put
if they
something new out.
reunited, but but it was totally different style.
Okay.
I mean, some people have said they went to an alternative sound, but
It's a lot
to
of
me
people
it was
did.
more of a straightforward hard rock Zeppelin-inspired sound on that. It was called Torn. Is the name of the album.
Yes, I remember. Okay. Yeah.
But they also had recorded some songs right before Torn on a compilation called Premium Cuts for a brand new
Oh, I
label.
had that. Yeah. I had
Yeah,
that
and it
one.
was like, and they did 3 songs, and those 3 songs are great. Especially the song. Remember the song "Buy My Record"?
Yes,
Buy
I do.
My
I
Record.
do.
It's a great
I
song.
remember that one.
Big hook, and it's a great. It's humorous, but at the same time, it's true. You know, it's just we're all peddling music here. We're all peddling
True.
something. Even the preachers are, buy my
Buy my book.
Buy my book. Yeah. So it's a cool.
Or
song.
just give me money.
But then when it went from that sound, which was similar to this, to the next album coming out very soon after that, to being that more straightforward hard rock, Led Zeppelin-ish, almost alternative sound, that it just people didn't like it, and I can understand why. It's just you didn't expect it,
Yeah.
But and they haven't released anything again since. I
Okay.
mean, they still together. They still play shows. They always say they're going to release stuff on their Facebook page, but yeah, it's
Were they at the not the last Southern Cal Metal Fest, but the one before? Were they playing that day?
yes, they did. I believe they did.
I
Yep.
thought they
the
did.
Dale Huffman one. Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. My turn.
Sure.
It's a good one. It's kind of a return to form for Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like Club Ninja.
No, and this actually started out as an Albert Bouchard solo project. It's the cover. The cover art is, to me, it's like amazing. It's one of the most amazing covers I've ever seen. It's just got such a cool look to it, and
Should have been a gatefold.
yeah, it's really just got
Because
some
the back
cool
cover is
imagery.
cool too.
Back cover's got a ship sailing on the ocean. The music is back, and the subject matter, it's back to the early days, and mainly because it was produced by Sandy Pearlman. He's the guy who was responsible for all that weirdo subject matter on the
Right.
early albums. So they're really back to it this time. They've got they redid Astronomy on this one, the new version of that. They put out a self-titled song, Blue Oyster Cult.
Wasn't there a hit on there too, a radio hit? I'm pretty sure there was. Let's see.
Was it the siege and investiture of Baron von Frankenstein's castle at Wyceria?
Of course.
Which wouldn't have
Maybe
fit
there
up.
wasn't. Maybe I'm thinking of a different album.
I don't know.
Anyhow.
No, I don't know that anything was really a big hit off of this. It kind of went under the radar.
Yeah, and it's definitely more of a 70s sound.
Yes.
It doesn't kind of have the, 80s vibe that some of those other Blue Oyster Cult albums
Yeah, like
had.
even starting with Fire of Unknown Origin, then they got more so with Revolution by Night, and
Yep.
then
Club Ninja and
Club Ninja. I mean, at that point, their popularity was kind of
Waning. Yep.
But this kind of was a return to form for them. And then they had a couple after this that were really good too. Heaven Forbid and Curse of the Hidden Mirror. Really kind of returned to form for BOC. Great stuff. You really can't go wrong with BOC. It's quality stuff. It took me a long time to really get deep into them because the stuff was just so bizarre. I kind of had to grow into it. But good stuff. Great band.
And they are not
Still
a metal
out.
band. They were just hard rock. Just so nobody says anything to us. Just hard rock.
Even though they had a song called Heavy Metal, the Black and Silver.
All right, so I'm going to show This is '88. Sacred Warrior.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's a
I knew
great
that one.
album. Actually, this little sticker on there, I bought this used in 19...
Very tight metal band. Excellent.
My discovery of this band was I was selling off all my old records to purchase a house. But I also was getting into CDs.
He had that many records, folks. He bought a house.
This was back in '89. Actually, it was very end of '89, 1990. And I went to... So I got all this money from this record store for selling a portion of my record collection to him. And I went through the CDs and I found a few that I wanted just because I didn't want to have no music. And this is one of the ones that the guy recommended. And this is just a record store. He's like, oh, if you like Queensryche and that kind of music, you're going to love these guys. And I'm like, all right, right on.
And this was their debut, right?
This is their debut.
Yeah.
So I picked it up. And this is the copy I have right here. It was on Intense Records.
Yep.
But it was distributed by... This one says Star Song. But it was distributed by somebody else. Enigma, maybe?
Okay.
One of
Which
those
is
labels?
what, Stryper was on Enigma, so.
Anyhow, so yeah, it's but if you seriously, if you like that Queensryche sound,
And that was kind of the beginning of a lot of that Jeff Tate kind of influence vocalizations kind of spreading out. A lot of bands started picking up on
and
it.
Ray Parra he just had the voice.
He did.
I saw them live; they were great bands. And just like I said, if you like that Queensryche, especially if you like the EP sound, of course, first Queensryche EP, that's kind of where this goes. Like it's almost like this is where a lot of people wish Queensryche would have gone.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool because, another band kind of picks up the banner and they carry it on. That's kind of cool that music works that way.
Where it's different is they do incorporate a lot of keyboards on here. Now, it's not the 80s style ding, 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 ding keyboards, which are just, it meshes in with the music and doesn't make it less heavy, which is what a lot of people didn't like about the 80s keyboards because it was always like...
They were dingy.
Yeah, it just mellowed it out, and that's not the case here.
Yep.
Not at all. But anyhow, great album. If you can find it, needs to be reissued on vinyl and CD because it's not easy to find. But
rocks.
Actually, if I'm not mistaken, Retroactive, I believe, is going to be releasing it. And then
Who did Master's Command?
That would have been Rocks.
That was Rocks.
Yep.
Okay.
And that came out fantastic. It sounds fantastic.
And your update on the cover was killer.
Thank you.
I mean, it basically just made it more of what was there. It was just looked way better.
Yeah, it came out nice. I'm happy with it, especially considering I had to blow it up from a CD. And then this is Realm, Endless War. This is one of those bands that's on, the Road Racer, RC Records, Road Racer, Road Runner. All those labels were kind of putting out the same style of music at the same time. It was that American speed metal sound with the fast punk-inspired thrash metal, but with the clean, high-pitched singer singing over top of it.
Yep.
Love this album. And this song in here, Slay the Oppressor, it's one of my favorite thrash songs of all time. I love the lyrics, too. It's all about...
Christian band?
No.
Okay.
I mean, no, they're not. But
okay.
You can kind of hear some of the biblical influences in the lyrics. And I think that's what it was more so than they were Christians, as they were using some of the biblical influences, the Bible stories. And
I've never heard of them until today.
Yeah,
So.
Slay the Oppressor is, I don't know if the lyrics are in here or not, but, oh yeah, it's in here, but I need magnifying glass to read them.
Yeah.
I hate CDs like this. So if you see my reissues on any of the labels that I work for,
They're readable. They're legible.
What's the point?
Just to get it in there.
The lyrics are in there. It's only 3 point, but anyhow.
Can't say they're not
Realm,
recorded for
Endless War.
posterity.
This one could have been way up higher in my top 10. I like it that much, and I'd kill to have this one on vinyl. I don't have that.
Does it exist?
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah. It was '88, so everything was on vinyl in '88.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
Matter of fact, CDs weren't anywhere near as popular in '88 yet as records were.
Okay.